Sasha.
Hey everyone. Thank you for a nice presentation of how we can change XML. So I took the challenge and I changed not XML but our dear XSLT. It happened that people not much outside of our world appreciate its syntax and capabilities, and developer experience is really I will be silent in this direction. So when people 2 years ago come to me, well, in our group, I'm part of the W3C Web Components member, and we've been asking for volunteers to pick up the declarative custom elements. The custom elements, that's the web components, the tags in HTML, which actually doing some stuff inside with the UI and the codings along with it. The only browser-supported fully functional templating engine is XSLT, but apparently nobody is using it. Question why? So I tried to look on it and taken the challenge. So now you will see the changes in XSLT syntax on development experience, and actually it goes way beyond of it, because the solution which I will be presenting, it's also the cybersecurity question. Custom element was implemented multiple times by folks. So far, I know only one implementation which actually fully functional, which has fully functional templating engine. It does have the business logic and the actions connected to the browser APIs and events. It's currently open source library, published on the GitHub, NPM, and CDN. It is under consideration of proposal to be part of the HTML stack. And going further, I'm planning to make it a browser plugin, mobile and Internet of Things SDK, secure browser as the evolution towards the native platform by implementing by the each browser, hopefully on the planet. What custom element can bring into the web as the application platform? The web has kind of well-known stages. There is a web 1.0, 2.0, but the third, I would not call the blockchain stack, but rather integration of multiple vendors on the same page. As now, you cannot find any page which does not have at least like dozen of different services from different vendors, and all of them working through the JavaScript without limits and borders. There is a conflict of interest between what they want to collect on you and want to hide. Some of them providing the authentication logic, so they want to protect you as much as possible. Others want to track every move, literally every mouse move on the screen. So obviously conflict of interest is there. Question, is it possible to make it happen without compromising the business for those companies? Well, declarative syntax, that would be the answer. Why declarative? Because if it's implemented in a way without JavaScript, with safeguards in mind, unlike the JavaScript originally, then we will have no such issues. With third-party application integration and general pattern, we will have the larger attacks of surface. The assemblage of applications contributed to the broadened attack surface with vulnerability of single became a risk for all. Security is common denominator, obviously. The level is as strong as the least secure component on a stack. As of now, there is no insulation between applications JavaScript allows extensive uncontrolled access across applications, API, user data. So what if you need to provide a nice user interface for login flow, still keep other services like feedback, social media, analytics, and some pages without compromising the user input? The answer will be custom element. It's actually a runtime engine which allows to create a full-blown application. Nothing is shared between those sub-applications. The strict ownership matches the declarative custom elements encapsulation. Context owner can control the children elements, but none is leaked upwards. The business logic as a transformation rule resides in XSLT, which results only in generated content. The CSS styles are scoped also inside of DCE, so they will not break owner page and components. The presupposition is reimagine the development with declarative custom element as well. So the developer experience, in addition to the some benefits. Declarative syntax gives the low-code principles. So it eliminates the reliance on specialized JavaScript developers. In this case, the no-code principles driven by AI will be more straightforward. So I would expect that amount of the web applications created by non-programmer crowd will increase significantly. But in the same time, because of breaking the borders between different applications from different vendors, no security issue here, will create another boost and level of magnitude of reusing of different applications on the web. So who in general would benefit from such approach? Obviously, the high security audience. So I've seen here document management, procurement system, healthcare, you name it. So those definitely would, and I would prefer to talk to my bank using pages which have disabled JavaScript. So by default, I would know that there is no compromise here. We're talking about another layer of security safeguards. The applications which would need more integration with third-party, so those are content management systems, social networks, project management systems. Among of them, Google's sites, Adobe Experience Manager, Vercel, WordPress, Drupal, and any content management which perhaps some of you implemented as well. Social network sites, if you remember, many of them raised because of including third-party vendors applications like games and voting, follow-up. So the Facebook, Twitter, from very beginning, they offered the integration of third-party applications. The only trick how to make that safe and secure and not compromising your personal data. Well, in social media, there is nothing to compromise. It's broken already. But if we will, besides of the logic, include the safeguards around the user behavior, then it will be a different matter. But this declarative custom elements advantages are going way beyond. So what is the custom element? As I spoken before, it extends the web components, web standards. It would provide the micro front-end patterns for embedding third-party components. And key differentiator of custom elements is declarative syntax as for UI, as for the business logic. The key here is that application needs something to run on, so the business logic should be part of it. It also provides the data which can be changed in runtime and the stack is it is introducing the new terminology for the data islands. Before it used to be the XML islands. Now I call it slices, which along with the slots which come with the web components will become a very powerful concept of working with the data in them. So it happens that security is not only about exposing something. It's also about ability to grab the network traffic, ability to steal the user interface pieces, especially on mobile. It's about how much CPU each vendor can take. And who've been working on XSLT engines, the parameters like how many threads are permitted to be run for a particular process are there, how much memory and how deep the call stack should be, it's already there. But on the web platform, especially on JavaScript world, there is no such limits. So we able to introduce the platform which will be aware of those and create safeguards around the whole stack of the potential influence between different applications. It happened that proposed solution includes the full development lifecycle support. So that's what you see right now is implemented. There is way more to implement ahead, but what we have as of now is not a part of most of the libraries which I kind of worked with before. So it is a fully functional template. As mentioned, it's XSLT based. No limits there. It allows to have modular development, which will give you the ability to create libraries and reuse them. It has the data access for the internal data associated with component. Obviously, the things of template, conditions, each variables, application features as of now not well in the full scope of browser API, but it does include a gentleman minimum to create the identification flow or form filling, which includes HTTP, storage, and events. The development support is also part of the equation. Without proper transparency into your data into transformation, you cannot troubleshoot what's going on with the code. So you need to have something which exposes your internal data. So I created the browser plugin transformation, which exposes the necessary data inside. So those includes the data, the XML, the XSLT, which allow you to use developer tools of your choice to do the debugging against each phase of the rendering. Pretty similar to what you have as of now in React, for example, when you're able to replicate things. The development support goes a little bit further. IDE does have a support for the new tags and in suggestions and validation of the code. You do not need to go to the XML or HTML. You're able to work with the normal HTML, and that's the primary key here. So the folks will not, who do in the web development will not go outside of their own zone of comfort. So, of course, there are plans of doing things. How what will go further is not set. There is only very steps. So if you want to be engaged in the projects, that's a proper time of doing so. So we want to integrate with The declarative web application, as of now, you've seen just the components. We want to have the applications to be built this way, shared across multiple pages. Currently, CDN already is there, so we don't need to invent the wheel anymore. There are some things which is my company SingleFact is planning to do, so it will create the browser plugin, disable JavaScript, so it will become available for each user. It will have the SDK for mobile platforms and Internet of Things. And obviously, looking for the clients who will be willing to try the technology up. Well, there are some extra stuff. And, well, that's the things which is I'm planning to become alive. SingleFact AI, that's a little company of mine which want to cover the thing implementation. Now, to be more straightforward, I'd like to present you the live code which, how can switch it? All right. So folks had a doubt about the performance. So in here, you see the real time. You cannot notice actually the numbers below of mouse position changed and DOM update at all. The reason that a local implementation is actually creating diff between the existing DOM and what has been generated, and only the changed part will be placed in will be in place. So it means if you have your own custom components or existing elements which required to be kind of preserved in place, we will be able to do stuff without modification, changing the component. One of the example is real-time typing. So as you see here, there is no delay, and the original component stays in place. So no selection will be lost, and input will be in place. Let's go to changes of the syntaxes. Folks from HTML world kind of see the XSLT prefix as the big showstopper. Okay, my apology. It looks like I need to go to the browser. Syntax. Browser supports only XSLT 1.0, so I had to extend it a little bit in order to understand the embedding of the XPath results inside of body itself. So curly brackets has been used as a denominator for the data selection, and the data selection is oops, wrong one. Over here. So you see the data DOM here is rendered as the multiple layers which will include the attributes which are passed to the declarative custom elements. Those are default entry for any XPath. The reason why default entry is attributes, because when you use an element, first thing which is HTML developer expects, that's going to its attributes, not to the data, but rather what has been passed, and that's immediately should be available. Then there are data set. I've been following the HTML standards and trying to reflect the data structure to match what browser internally is exposing. So if you have data-attributes, those will be named as a data set, and that's also part of the equation. Then we're talking about the updates of things. So if we will use kind of attributes and change them, the values will be immediately propagated to the content. Content will be rendered, and you will be able to see the result. The CSS also is available out of the box. So let me show you the CSS demonstration. It will be easier. So everything what is in the CSS style tag is scoped to the component, which means those styles will not infect not the page and other components. So you can go bazaar and use without any prefixes, which means it will be applied directly to the component itself. But you will be able to override it not only for your own component, but also for instances of those components. Let me see where I showing it. Perhaps bad idea. There are some changes to the XSLT, to the XPath. Some stuff like attributes usually needed default values, and those can be provided in here. So the slice local storage request or here. It happened that if you want to provide some value in case if it was not set, XPath has very kind of 1.0, which is implemented by the browsers, doesn't have proper syntax. So in this case, I extended the double question mark operator, which has been presented by our gurus today. And so in case if the proper selector does not exist, so in this case, I'm trying to find if there are P3 was passed as an attribute, then it will use the value default P3 as such. This attribute is also useful for a few other cases as well, when you want to chain multiple values next to each other. The potential of use for the custom elements goes to the multiple different cases like okay, so that's now I'm going back to the styling. So in this case, you see that style is defined only for single component, but in here it's defined on the custom element level, but applied for each instance. The slots, that's another things which is not specific to XSLT. It's a part of HTML standard. So we have two different templating, how to say, principles. One is slots, and another one is slices. So data slices are a little bit different. As I mentioned, that's the structure of the DOM, but slice give us ability to associate the value of any component, in this case like input, and value will be propagated with a slice on txt. So if you will take a look on data DOM slice and then txt, it will be over there. You're able to define what event will be triggering the slice update. So usually for its form submit, or it's the change event. But if you want to have more responsive, it will be either key up or input. In this case, you will be able to track the changes as user type immediately. Okay. It happened that normal inclusion assumes that XSLT import will use another XSLT. It has been extended here to support another import data as a templates. So I could import either SVG, HTML, or the data island inside of other resources. For example, if it's a library of SVGs, I could pinpoint to exact SVG, or this is library of another templates, another custom components. That would be the one. And in here, you see the example of extraction of the wave. That's the hand here. Well, custom logo or the mass.ml formula. All of them actually reside inside of external HTML file. And obviously, the external XSLT work as well. Okay. I did not show you the support on IDE level. So let's go to the IntelliJ and see how it will work. So customer element obviously has own things here, but if you talk about the any of the XSLT tags, in this case, it will be XSLT if or XSLT for each. That also will become a part of the documentation, even if it's inside of HTML. So it's not XML, it's not XHTML, but normal one. All right, we're running out of time. Thank you very much. Now the questions.
Thank you very much. Is there any question?
Hello. In one of the first slides, you showed a model to isolate the scope from other web components or custom elements, declarative custom elements. Is that, will that probably be an impact on performance there? What do you think?
Interesting that with more capabilities, the performance of these components is better. And the reason, because we're using the native XSLT engine, unlike others who, for their template interpretation, have to use JavaScript.
Okay. Any other question? Sit.
So you may have to dumb down your answer a bit, because I have to admit, this went over my head. But the basic idea, as was asked before, is that a DCE, one of its capabilities is to separate concerns so that different third-party vendors wouldn't have access to each other's information, right?
Actually, it's opposite. It's a separation of the data between them. So the component, DCE component, has own data island, which is not overlapping with others. And only valid way of passing information in between is through the attributes on the DCE itself.
okay, so that makes things make a little more sense in my little brain. Did you show any of those attributes? Did I miss that?
Yes, but I did not highlight their functionality as communication between the components.
Okay, I just missed that then.
So the slice is always associated with the value attribute or value property. So it could be string, then an attribute. It could be the object, then it will be property. And once any component has value changed, usually through the event, it will be propagated to data island under slice / and name of the slice with data inside.
But nowhere else. It just goes in there and it doesn't get propagated elsewhere.
No, it's only inside of its own instance.
So the instances don't have to be identified because it's only within the island that anything happens.
That's correct.
Okay.
So thank you very much again for this presentation.
Thank you.